Hi, this is Matthew Lee from the Campaigner magazine. I'm here with Alex Wynnter, who's one of the designers of the Brigade, which is a tabletop game which will come onto Kickstarter soon, and we're going to learn a little bit about that. So, Alex, would you like to just explain basically what the Brigade is, like what kind of game it is, and what the players are doing?
Yes, yeah. So players in the Brigade, they are fire chiefs, and they're trying to become the fire captain. So unfortunately, the whole town is pretty much caught on fire. There's a big pyromancer university in the middle of the town. It's exploding. There's fireballs landing all over the place. Wind blows. More things catch on fire. Everything's on fire, and the fire captains are trying to gain the loyalty of the citizens and become the fire chief. So yeah, you run around putting out fires, and everyone hopefully cheers you on, and they love you, and the more they love you, the more you hopefully become the fire chief.
Awesome. And this game, the Brigade, how long have you been working on it for? Like, has this been the development for a while, or you only just kind of started working on this?
Yeah, definitely in development for a while. We've been working on it for about a year and a half. We had a solid concept at about 6 months, and then it's just been refinement for a very, very long period of time. We've been through hundreds of play tests, blind, non-blind, sent it overseas, tried on Tabletopia. We've done heaps of play testing and refinements. And we've gotten to a point where it is like probably 99.9% final, which is probably the point you want to be at when you launch it on Kickstarter.
Okay, so if you're saying 99.9% final, so how much of the game mechanics and the artwork, that'll be the two main things, how much of all of that is kind of like definitely down now? So
I wasn't counting artwork because we still need to get artwork done, but game mechanics, gameplay, all 100%. That 0.1% is probably just rulebook clarity, which is one of the hardest things you can do, because you can send your game everywhere all over the world and people will have fun playing it, but they need to know how to play it properly first.
Sounds good. Sounds like a sensible approach. So if this thing's almost finished, or it's almost ready for consumption of the general public, are you looking at for a publisher for this, or are you looking to take it to Kickstarter? What's the next process? Well, what's the next stage?
So the next process for us, we're self-publishing it, so we'll be doing it on Kickstarter. It's the best option for us. We didn't really want to take this to a publisher because we have several great game ideas that we really want to get off the ground. So as long as we launch one beautifully successful one, and this game, it has all the makings of a really, really good successful game. It's going to have beautiful artwork. We've got a few pieces finished, which you should see on the Kickstarter. It's got lots of replayability. There's heaps of interesting things you can do in the game, heaps of interesting combos you can work out and try out, different ways of winning. It's just got everything we need to make it a really beautiful Kickstarter. Lots of good stretch goals that we're planning, good things to unlock. Yeah, and good reward tiers.
Okay. In what you were just talking about then, you keep saying we, so you are not the only person who has kind of been working on this. Do you want to explain who this other person is and where they are?
Yeah. So I should have mentioned him earlier because he's a brilliant designer. His name's Ben Hoban, and he's been working on a few games himself, and then we sort of came together for one game idea that he had, that he was building for his daughters. And then we decided to start on this one because this one is a bit more of a it's more simple than the other idea. It's not a simplistic game, but it's more simple than the original idea that we were going to be working on. And this one just ended up being sort of the focal point of what we were doing. Ben currently lives in Spain, so we're doing a lot of this long distance at the moment, but he was living near me, and now we're sort of separated, and we're still doing a lot of stuff together. I mean, the magic of the internet helps with everything these days.
Yeah, very helpful, the internet.
Yeah, so he's in Spain, I'm in Melbourne, in Australia, and we're doing a lot of stuff online. He's doing a lot of stuff in Spain, and testing stuff and feeding it back to me, and then I'm doing stuff here and feeding it back to him, and yeah, it's just a big process.
Okay, that sounds interesting. The remote game by design remote. Yeah. Okay. So one of the things about the Brigade is that it's got a very definite art style and idea behind it. It's like when a lot of people I've seen, they've described it as kind of like it's got this kind of Terry Pratchett Discworld feel to it. So what's kind of been the idea behind the artwork and giving it this kind of look, this kind of like unique approach to it?
Well, the sort of the storyline itself is very Terry Pratchett-y, and it was sort of a bit of an inspiration behind the entire game. Like, I loved a lot of Terry Pratchett books, and this sort of reminds me of Guards, which I think is the 7th or 8th book that Terry Pratchett wrote. The artwork in it is very unique, and it all comes from one brilliant artist in Spain, Nuo, and he just has a really good style about him. He's done the buildings for the building block tiles really well, and he's talented enough to be able to do the portraits for the crew cards and the captains, and he's a brilliant artist.
Was good. It's nice to have nice artists on board.
Definitely.
It's helpful.
It makes the game.
So the Brigade is going to come to Kickstarter soon. Do you have a rough idea about when you are hoping to get this thing onto Kickstarter, so everybody knows when to expect it?
Yeah, definitely. It should be in June, and it will run for about 30 days, and we're just hoping to drum up as much interest as we can during and before that, and get it off the ground.
Okay. And do you have a rough idea about, like, your for the basic game, what you're going to be asking for, like, people to pledge?
Yeah. So we were thinking of making it it's somewhere between $49 and $55, and in that you'll end up getting it's 36 tiles for creating the board, so it's a bit of a modular game, and you'll be getting fire captains, a crew deck, event deck, and player boards, and lots of cubes, tokens, things like that. Yeah.
Some sort of indicator.
Lots of indicators. Yeah. And they're all coloured beautifully. Like, I think we chose really good colours for the players that are a bit more unique than your standard red, blue, green. So it made the game have a nice feel to it as well. So I like the colours.
Okay. Well, okay. Good. I'm glad you like the colours. You're making the game. I mean, so just one of the things you haven't mentioned is this like how many players we're looking? 2 to 6, 2 to 4.
We're hoping to make it. It will probably be able to be played 1 to 4. Okay. So there will be a version you can play single player as well as 2 players, 3 players, 4 players. And part of some of the stretch goals or things that we would love to do and unlock would be a cooperative version. So it'll be a 1 versus 3 situation, or a 2v2 situation, or a 4 people cooperative instead of fighting against each other. Okay,
so you're looking to kind of not just have the game be able to do one thing. There's kind of like the different modes that you can play it in.
Yeah, luckily for us, the gameplay is easily, like, you just modify it, sort of tweak it slightly, where you still get exactly the same style of play. So you're still playing the same game, but it's just sort of the goalposts have changed a little bit.
Okay. What's, more bang for your buck, I suppose, then?
Definitely.
Awesome. That's Alex Wynnter. He's working on The Brigade, which should come out in June. That's what we said? Excellent. I'm paying attention. I'm Matthew Lee from the Campaigner magazine. Thanks for watching. Bye.